I'm having some technical difficulty. We're back on this, and I was saying before I realized I was having technical difficulties that the reason I like these tax supervising commissions because this is the only time that the Trimet the Trimet executives are actually on the hot seat. Okay, they're the ones that have to answer to the tax commission. Okay, so this is the only time in their existence that the executives are like the subservient class. They're underneath. They're underneath. Who is it? Uh, they're underneath. So that the tax supervising commission is the superior of the Trimet executives, which makes this an interesting dynamic because Trimet executives never answer to anybody. They have a puppet board which never asks them anything important, and they do everything on their own. So this is the only time in the whole year that the Trimet executives have to explain themselves. Okay, so let's get on it.
Of our operators and the rest of our staff. And so there is a steering committee that is addressing a lot of those issues to make sure that we are meeting their needs and making them feel safe when they are on the system, which we think is one of the main reasons that individuals may not be staying with Trimet. So that, in addition to some other incentives that we're looking at, are things that we are trying to do to keep, not just bring people here, but keep them here as well.
Can I add also to that? I think one of the things that a lot of organizations across the country are faced with right now is the mental health and well-being of our employees. You know, after these 2 years, it's just been unprecedented.
Yeah. I mean, and your mental health. I mean, it's all talk, and we know you're not. What are you doing for the mental health of your employees? Have you changed the structure of the job? Have you increased the pay? I'll say it again. This is a six-figure job. You should be making six figures for what you're putting up with there. You should start at 40 an hour and top at 50. Okay, all these executive salaries are out of control, but the people doing the work has only been going up like a little tiny bit, 3% a year, while his salary has gone up like 10 or more percent a year. And what have you done for the operators that's so special? I don't see anything.
We've brought in people from various different medical and health facilities to start educating our employees how to take care of themselves through this pandemic, and really focusing on the.
Yeah, what you're talking about the speakers at the goddamn town hall. I wonder how many operators actually watch that. I'll bet you it's less than 10%.
Health that they've been dealing with, and Portland has been a city that's been in the national spotlight, and that has kind of trickled down to our employees, and we've had a rash of employees that left us because of the environment that's going on and what they're facing with. So we're working with all of the stakeholders in the region, our elected leaders.
Forget about all of them. You have to work with two groups, the riders and the drivers, and that's who you're not working with. You're not working with the riders. You're not working with all you do is torture both groups of people. Both two groups of people are endlessly tortured by this company. All right, it's absolutely the truth.
And also all of our businesses to help rectify that and move forward.
I'll add too that we routinely meet with the ATU officers in the labor.
Well, meeting with the ATU officers is not going to help the frontline employees. Okay, in case you haven't been tracking the discourse about that, there's a lot of distress with union members and their union reps. I have no idea when Shirley last drove a bus, but it's got to be like 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago for all I know. She hasn't been behind the wheel in many, 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 many years. And is she connected to that? I don't know. From what I'm hearing, she's like a matriarch queen. Okay, I don't know. I don't go to the meetings. I'm not connected these days. But I hear the same stories I mean, you're talking about this cabal of elites within the Trimet that have been running the union, the so-called Hunt crowd. And they did get Bruce in there. But Bruce, he's just too nice. Bruce was just too nice. I mean, I like Bruce. Who doesn't like Bruce Hanson? It's not possible to not like him. But he's just too nice, okay? I liked Hunt because he was not nice. Of course, he was a crony union boss, hard ass. But I like the guy. I really did.
Group, and that has been the focus of the last couple of meetings, right, is eliciting from them some ideas on retention and what we could do to improve the environment for our frontline staff.
Thank you.
Well, you're not doing it.
Just a brief follow-up. Could you comment? I understand that the incentives and
They're doing the exact opposite. They're constantly begging operators. They're burning out their operators, okay? They're burning them out. You have a few operators that will work every minute that they can get, okay? Six-figure type guys. But, some operators can do that and some can't. I could never. Shit, I used to do a 3-day work week over there, 10-hour days. It would take me 2 days to recover from the 3-day work week. I'm not kidding, man. Us career mini runners, we had an easy life over there. It was the greatest bus driving job in the history of bus driving. When I came to Trimet, they had the best job in the industry. I'm not kidding. They had the best fucking job. You got full benefit. You had the great benefits. You had the defined pension. And you could do it on a part-time. You could do it as a part-timer. They had the best job. And it was the best job once you got some seniority and you could get out of the shit runs. That took a couple years. But once I did get that seniority, I loved that job. I would have never left. But, I got involved with all this other stuff which rubbed the management in the wrong way. It had nothing to do with my job. It's just, I was involved with all the politics. I was divulging information. I was videotaping, etc.
your activities have increased your applicant pool and plateau and increasing plateau. But what about the quality of the applicants?
See, that's a beautiful question that you'll never hear asked at a board meeting. And I ask that question all the time. Who in the hell are you recruiting? Because some of these people are bad.
I mean, are these,
Yeah,
a big
that's a
pool
great
doesn't mean
question.
equality?
Yeah.
So great question, and it has done both. So obviously the pool of applications has increased, but the number of successful offers has increased as well.
Great.
And our class
So
sizes.
who are they? Who? Tell us how you screen people. Give us the facts. How is it that you screen people that you want and you screen out people that you don't want?
Those have increased. They're stepping up and up. They're regularly
She's not answering
increasing.
the
So
question.
it's been very positive.
Thank you.
That's not an answer. That's not an answer. See, you're doing the same thing the board does. You ask a great question, they give you a bullshit answer, and then you don't follow through.
I have the next question. We're going to switch gears here a little and move to ridership. So last year we asked about ridership trends, and Trimet's financial modeling expected ridership to return to pre-pandemic levels around 2025. Trimet initiated several priority projects to address ridership, including website updates, improved communications, and customer service training.
None of that will help you get your riders back. More buses and trains is the only way you can get riders. That's it. There's no other way to get riders on your system. It's more buses and trains. More bus. This is a mantra over on Twitter, and they won't do what's necessary. They do everything but what they need to do.
What is the ultimate goal of all of these efforts? And have you found that these projects are being successful so far? And what other approaches are you planning for the future?
Thank you for that question. I will begin by talking about the financial modeling, and I will then turn it over to JC to continue to talk about ridership. Our financial modeling, frankly, now suggests that ridership is not going to return to pre-pandemic levels until later in the decade, like the 2028, 2020.
Yeah, and if you can't provide the service, which you can't, obviously you're not going to get back the riders. I mean, right now the service is an unmitigated disaster. Okay? And everybody that follows it knows it, okay? Maybe there's only a handful of us that actually follow it and know it. But we know it's a disaster area out there. It's completely unreliable now.
29. And the reason for this is twofold. We recognize that because of the, who knows why, but a number of businesses have moved out of the core. And there are a number of reasons for that. And they've taken our riders with them.
Well, that's
Another
probably
reason
true,
is
too.
because of remote working. So many people have,
And the other reason is because the system sucks. So you're not going to bring that up, watch.
companies have come to realize that remote working is something that's going to be here to stay. So that's reduced our ridership as well. And so that's why we're projecting that both the ridership and the fair revenue likely that comes with them is going to be a little later.
Let's repeat again. The fair revenue is not significant. So they bring it up as like it's not. Okay, when you have an $1.8 billion agency, less than half is used for operations. You got to be kidding to bring it up, but I guess that's part of their shtick.
And coming, and we're working on that, but we're monitoring these trends. We're monitoring very closely.
Oh, you're monitoring the trends, huh? Well, that's nice to hear, you little technocrat, you.
We're adjusting our ridership projections as well as our fair revenue projections constantly. So whether they're for riders, whether they're returning or new.
See how she's talking and she's not saying anything? This is your experienced technocrat here.
Ultimate goal, of course, is to increase ridership. To do that equitably and efficiently is our goal. Once we solve the operator shortage situation, we'll be able to improve our service reliability.
Right. You should be all hands on deck to fix the shortage. All the managers should be turned into get their CDLs, drive those. They should put the managers behind the wheel. Why do you even have any capital projects and any managers when you can't run your system? It's like they willfully ignore the truth. Okay, you can't run your system, and yet you have all this other stuff going on, and that's all running normally. And see, this is the corruption and complete destitution of our governmental service now. All of the attention of the elites is on something else. Meanwhile, the people that need the service are shit out of luck.
Now we've had to extend headways on some routes.
Yes.
Which of course then makes it a little slower and a little less reliable for our customers. It's another reason that they resort to other modes of transportation.
Yeah, there you go.
So
at least she said it. Okay, I didn't even think she would say it. She said it in a very non-threatening way, but
we believe we will lead so many of our efforts. We are working on such as the security presence, improving the security presence on the system.
No, you're not. Where are they? They're not over on the bus side. What are you going to do about all these riders that you leave behind in the ditch? All of these vulnerable people that can't hold their piss. You just leave them there? What are you going to do about that? Do you understand that's like inhumanity? That's man's inhumanity to man there, and you're just letting it happen? Do you understand that? Does anybody even talk about it?
Stepping up on our cleaning, and
they are not. They got rid of their bus cleaners.
Working on our destinationless riders that are prevalent. So we do expect to improve the customer service experience for our riders. And I'll turn it over to JC.
Yeah, you better turn it over to him. You're so full of shit.
Of Public Affairs.
Turn it over.
Talk more about ridership and how effective these
efforts
have been.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's hear how good JC can bullshit. He's been around for a while, so his bullshitting skills should be good by now. Let's check it out.
D. A lot of our marketing throughout the pandemic has been focused on keeping people safe, letting them understand about mask usage, washing your hands, all those things. And so our marketing efforts have been focused on that as we've been coming out of the pandemic we've been working on our cleanliness, our security presence. And while we're doing that and our reliability, Dee made mention of that. We don't feel necessarily confident to go out and market our service just yet. We want a good customer experience.
Yes. He just spoke the truth, everybody. He just spoke the truth. Yay for you. See that? Wow. Can't even believe it.
For folks. However, we have been focusing our marketing efforts and sales efforts on those employers who are bringing people back. We saw the federal government bringing 7,000.
And I'll say it again, the only way you're going to get ridership back is more buses, more trains, and you're not going to get that. You don't even have drivers. So whatever you're doing is not going to work. But I appreciate that he actually alluded to the truth there. Okay, it's impressive. So at least he knows. Okay, so we know that he knows. And sometimes I wonder, do they even know these people? Are they so in their own bubble that they don't even know. Obviously, he does know because he just said it.
1,000 people back to the downtown core, Multnomah County, the city of Portland, even Trimet. And so we've been really working with a lot of those employers to help educate all of those folks who are returning to the system, and that's been actually a lot of fun. We've also been doing some...
A lot of fun? Jesus, you should not be having fun right now, okay? You need to be doing work, something productive.
Marketing around destinations. People, I don't know if you are much like me, but I want to get out of the house. And so how do we get people out of the house and encourage people to use the system again? So there's some light.
Only one way you're going to do it, frequent, reliable service, and you can't do it. You can't do it. So you cannot get your ridership back. So everything he says is bullshit.
Touches that we have been doing with our marketing efforts, there are still more underway once we...
Why do they have any marketing department? That whole department should be dissolved, okay? It should be gone, man. Why do you have that department in the middle of this? Because it's a crime syndicate. That's why you have it.
Feel comfortable as an agency to throw open the doors and welcome people back, we definitely want to do so. I would also just note that one of the things that we have underway, what we call internally is a comprehensive service analysis, and what we call publicly Forward Together, and it's an effort that we have hired Jarret Walker, who is...
It is! Jarret Walker has got a contract here. So maybe we'll find out about that. I've been theorizing about that.
A local person who does a lot of work in studying service and service patterns, all of that stuff, to help us understand our service and what it should be moving forward.
See?
We know that...
Did you hear that? Okay, I've been saying this, and it's just been proven. Jarret Walker was employed by Trimet to redesign the system, and he's doing it as we speak. And this is the first public acknowledgement of that we have. Okay? Now, I found that out because I was following Trimet Twitter, and some guy who I see all the time, I forgot who it is, mentioned that Walker was working on it. And then I tweeted, uh-oh, because I know what that means. I follow this material, not just for Portland, but for the whole country and even the world. And every time he shows up in a place, he's going to reconfigure your system, and then they're going to say, "This is the most brilliant man in the history of public transportation, Jarret Walker." He's got a whole big cult, huge, and they're going to roll him out as the the figurehead to manufacture consent for what they're doing.
That the demographics have changed. We know that people have moved during the pandemic. We know that people are teleworking. And so it's really doing a lot of research to understand people's travel patterns. Travel patterns have changed as well.
It's all ridiculous, man. All ridiculous nonsense. Jarret Walker is there to so-called right size. Okay, they've already decided, these managers, okay, these lying thieves, executives, technocrats, have already decided how they're going to reconfigure this system. They're not going to bring back service, you see. It's not coming back. That's why Jarret Walker's there. Because you're not getting your service back the way it was. They're going to change it around. You watch.
Well, so it's taking all of that information and laying it out and understanding our service levels, where we need to serve more people, the equity of it all, and really putting together...
Of course, there's no equity at all because they leave people in the ditch every fucking day. People that need help are left at the side of the road, so every time you hear equity, laugh because it's a complete lie. Okay? They're lying. There's no equity. There is no inclusion. There's only kill them all.
And fourth, a plan for us to begin working toward. Later this year, we'll have 3 scenarios that we'll be going out to the public with.
See, they've already decided. See? Okay, they already know what they're going to do. They've already got it laid out. We have 3 things we're going to do here. And they're all going to be basically the same, watch. But they've already got this figured out. He just admitted it, folks. He just admitted it.
A lot of outreach right now, but we'll be going out with 3 scenarios later this year. We'll be choosing one and adopting it, and it'll be our plan forward that we begin working toward building out our service and revamping our service so that we can accommodate and provide that high quality service that people in our region.
Yeah, right, right. Well, there you go, folks. You're never getting your service back. You're never getting it back. These technocrats have made a decision, and you weren't part of it.
Expect. So those are some of the efforts underway. I would also note that we have a ridership recovery task force internally.
A ridership recovery task force, Rippy. The task force will figure. Oh my God, this is hilarious.
That we've been meeting monthly and to go over a lot of the things that Dee has made mention of. Safety, security, cleanliness, our marketing efforts, and even just kind of that pulse of what's going on, people returning to work. So it's been very informative, but we have a lot of work to do. So,
all right, that's enough of this. That was very enlightening. See, I'm so glad I watched this because now you know you're not getting your old system back. They're going to give you 3 options. I'm sure they already have them, but they're going to drag it out because, money. How much money can we make on this? There you go, folks.